Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, got some pretty exciting news. There is going to be a new free login legendary coming in January. Check out this little clip that dropped on Twitter or X, if that's what you want to call it. It literally dropped yesterday from Raid. And we're going to go in and kind of like speculate what's going down. Death Knight gets whacked. Coming January 2024. So I think we're going to find out the full information about this legendary in the coming few days, or maybe at the start of the new year. I would not be surprised if they drop it right around New Year's Eve, honestly. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the previous login legendary champions, do a bit of a tier list of them, but also talk about what we think the new one could be. Yeah, obviously, like anyone in the game can give Death Knight a bit of a whack. But felt like, I don't know if you guys were getting the same feeling, felt like it was a creature or a dragon or something like that, which, you know, Draco's a dragon, so I guess it's possible. But yeah, we're going to have to take a look at previous, I guess, free login legendary champions. Talk about what they do in the game and maybe talk about what gaps we've got for this new one that's coming in January, which everybody is going to be able to pick up. Don't forget, by the way, if you're interested in some freebies, there is a giveaway on my Christmas video, this one here, Xmas giveaway. Come and check that out. It's only going to be a couple of days to get involved. There's also a giveaway running on the website, which I will link down below. And again, you've got a couple of days to get involved in this as well. What you need to do is kind of get involved with the socials. Have a look if you fancy it around some highlights from the HH Gaming team for this year. But anyway, let's get involved. So the first free login champion that you actually get is Silver the Drakes, Ash's favorite ever champion, right? So I'd say probably comes in as an A tier champ. She's got a passive heal. She's got AoE stunnage. She's very PvE centric, I would say. She's not really a PvP champion. She's got a bit of turn meter control, but a really solid champion with a revive. As soon as anyone picks her up, if you've not got legendaries yet, then she goes straight into the team. She's probably in most teams that you run. So Silver the Drakes is a solid kind of like starter here. I guess I'll quickly run through the ones you just get for like everyone gets still, and then we'll go into the more exclusive ones. So I think the next one you would get would be Visix. She was actually buffed a lot. Her two AoE skills now both do a lot of damage. She's got a lot of control. She's got AoE decreased speed. She's got ally protection for your team. And yeah, she turned into a great legendary champion. So again, I think an A tier champion. She's Void legendary, and she's now kind of like worthy of the Void legendary status. Okay, if we then look at the next one that I think you get from logging in, I think it's Cleopteryx. Again, she got buffed. She's now got AoE Hex, 2 AoE damage hits. I think, again, she's probably an A tier champion, honestly. She does a ton of work. She's one of the best spirit nukers in the game. She's mainly about pushing out damage, but Hex, with its buff, is now a really strong debuff to have. So maybe she gets into some Hydra teams as well, but probably sits as A tier as well. And so far, we've kind of got like team support with some damage, full damage dealer. Now, the next one who comes in the mix, I think it's this fella, Arix. I mean, Arix, for me, is probably one of the weaker of the bunch. Let me just check out Arix here. So yeah, Arix, I just need to remind myself what even Arix does. So all AoE hits and Ally Protect. So Ally Protect is great for Clan Boss. Outside of Clan Boss, it kind of like loses a bit of value. AoE Stun, AoE with a chance to remove a buff from targets. I know that Arix did get some like high level PvP gameplay for a while because of the AoEs, because of this chance to just like whips buffs off. Don't know. For me, I still don't see a lot of gameplay. I'd say B tier is pretty fair. So, I mean, is this an arena champion? I've seen Arix used most in the arena, but definitely being all AoEs could get some other gameplay as well. But yeah, I'd say B tier at best. The next one up then is Gerda Bogbrew, who I think would go down into C tier. So Gerda Bogbrew does have some quirky kind of like team synergy stuff going on. And, you know, it's kind of like poison, weaken. Again, lots of AoE stuff, debuff spreading. turn me to drop in. Like, she's got some stuff going down. I've seen her in some quirky teams, but I don't think she is kind of like worthwhile or super worthwhile by the time you pick her up in the game. So we get left with then almost like the more promotional login legendaries. And this is what this one's going to be. We've seen out of the different ones we've had, half of them actually. Half of them have been real life people. Okay. And we're kind of due another real lifer if it follows the same trend. I don't know if it will. So we've had Ninja, and Ninja kind of burst into the scene with, you know, like full, I guess he went to the studio. He did all the moves. There was this kind of like big marketing campaign, and it was like a huge name in terms of a streamer, not necessarily in our sphere, but definitely a huge name in terms of a streamer to come into Raid. So this was quite a big marketing push. But Ninja, I think, has to go into the first one in the S tier. He is like a PvE monster. Yeah, like think Doom Tower bosses, think Clan boss, think Sand Devil. You know, basically there's a whole bunch of bosses where he is just an absolute beast. He's also, I think he was the first champion added to the game where they actually did some cool stuff around if it's a boss, he does something different to if it's a normal enemy. And I think that's something which is the first time they experimented with it, and I think it's actually brilliant. He's got this A2, which just does a ton of PvE damage. And then he ended up with quite a cool passive as well with like scaling damage against high-level bosses. So I think he's S tier. Is he the only champion? Maybe Simple as well, actually. He's one of the few where you cannot pull him ever again. So he came out. You could get him in that event. Maybe is it the same with Simple and Ronda, actually? Let me just check. Ninja is in there. Alexander. So it would be after Ninja. Alexander is in there. So Ronda, and Ronda's in there as well. Okay, so I think with Ronda, they've done like follow-on events where you can pick her up. But with Alexander and Ninja, you've never been able to pick them up again. And that's generally what happens with this type of event. But Ninja was the first of the real PvE monsters. We then got Alexander, who I think they just missed a trick with this guy. He does some okay damage. He's got 2 AoE hits. He's probably like a B tier champion. He's got no passive, which makes him interesting. How did they not end up doing? So for those who don't know, Alexander here, or Simple from Na'Vi, is a CSGO player, Counter-Strike player. So it's FPS, and he's known for using the AWP, which is like a one-shot, one-kill type of gun. How they didn't do like a passive, which was, you know, like headshot passive. Every fourth person you kill is block revived, or, you know, like a headshot passive, you know, this ability will always kill someone, or something like that. How they didn't do that, I don't know, because they made him boring. They made him very simple, living up to his name, and yeah, I think they missed a trick with this guy. Okay, so I think we might have actually got Deliana in between these two, actually. And she comes in, again, as probably a B-tier champ. She's got some good Hydra ability. She's got some good early Spider ability. She's an HP-based champion, so she's easy to keep alive. But ultimately, she's not going to be getting into many late-game teams. But she was a great progression champion when she came through for people, especially for people trying to get into Hydra teams. So we kind of got like PvE, aimed at PvP, but honestly, he's not good enough, so it becomes PvE again. And then I think the next one was Ultimate Death Knight. And Ultimate Death Knight is like pure arena, and he is S tier. Okay? S tier champion. He is an absolute nuisance to the point where people are asking for him to be nerfed. Like, that's how annoying he is. If anyone is playing plat level arena, then this guy is in their defense, almost like 100%, or certainly has been. I don't know, I've not played it for a couple of months, but certainly has been in every defense. He's got a unique ability, which is, yeah, he's kind of got an OP ability for the arena in his passive. It's this one here. So whenever an ally is attacked with a single target hit, basically it hits Ultimate Death Knight instead. So you load him up with 2-tier stone skin, you make him super slow, and he becomes the ultimate tank that just basically keeps your team from being hit with anything which is single target. Makes him force AoE hits onto your team. But yeah, super good. Outside of PvP was actually decent as well for, you know, like the average player that's just getting him as an early champ. So one of the best login champions we've ever seen. We then went with another kind of like named person, which was Ronda Rousey. And I think she came in really as a PvE, like Fire Knight specialist. But she turned into a bit of a decent PvP champion as well because of her ability to block passive and active steals. She's one of the few people that can deal with Ultimate Death Knight, actually, but also deal with people like Rotus, who was very prominent in the meta. I guess deal with people like Mariska, Taras, where, you know, they've just got one thing which is making them super insane. So Ronda is a good counter to that. Now, Polymorph has kind of like put people with these steals, same with Romantu actually, in the dirt, right? So because Polymorph's been so powerful, these abilities have dropped off, but I think they will come back when Polymorph gets nerfed. So she's been a great PvE initially, mainly for Fire Knight, but actually she became a PvP champion, and I'd say A tier. So we end up then with two more champions that have come in. Artak came in during Call of the Arbiter. I think he's S tier, and he is a PvE monster. AoE burn, activating burns means it's very fast kills on high-level bosses. Great for some Doom Tower stuff. Great in a lot of high-level dungeons. Great for Hydra. Yeah, he became a PvE monster. Not great for PvP. Doesn't hit that hard. His physical hits, it's all about his abilities. But you can see a trend here of extremely good quality free logged-in legendaries. Yeah, PvE, PvE, PvP, PvP. And I'd say this one is another... Is he S tier or A tier? Wukong's probably S tier as well, honestly, in terms of constant revives, like self-revive, high damage, makes a nuisance of himself, steals buffs away, puts block buffs on enemies. That makes him okay for Hydra, okay in some PvE. He's actually not bad in the new boss in the city of Sintranos. But ultimately, he's a great PvP, mainly live arena champion, I would say, because you get a lot of people just taking turns. He keeps coming back up. Kind of counters Lydia, even though she's got block revive, because, like, well, you know what? I'm going to come back up in a bit anyway, once that's on cooldown, and just waste it. So you've got PvP, 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 PvE, PvE. I think the next one we're due is probably a PvE champion, I think. And probably going to be someone, it might end up being someone who is specifically good against the new boss. Yeah, if they're thinking straight, they got their heads on, and, you know, they're trying to give someone a champion that's going to help people beat up this dude, then I think it might end up being a PvE champion that gives us some abilities which help us against Amius. And that could be some sort of passive healing. It could be, let me try and think what else we would want here. Someone with heal reduction, you know, with a kind of like maybe on an A1. Don't know, actually. What else do we want? Someone that can cleanse would be good. Someone that can put block debuffs out is good. There's quite a lot of requirements here. Decrease attack, heal reduction are the two debuffs that we like. So I think it's going to end up being someone that's a PvE champion with a bunch of debuffs that's going to help us. But I guess comment down below, what do you think? Is there an area of the game that you would specifically love them to be good at? So far, actually, we've only really had, out of all of these, so we're talking 12 champions, we've only really had Ninja, who I would say excels at Clan Boss, which is interesting because Clan Boss is one of their kind of like big feature bosses, but I guess maybe it's just a bit, it's been found out already. Yeah, so it's kind of been there, we've done it. Do we really need new free login champions for that? But if a free login champion is to try and encourage people to download the game and get involved, then you'd hope they'd be able to get involved in kind of like the big baddie from the start. We've seen someone that can kind of like destroy campaign. We've seen someone that destroys Hydra. A few champions that destroy PvP. So yeah, I'm interested to know which direction they go. But again, let me know what you think down below. Also, let me know if you think I've kind of put these in the spots that you would, or if there's any that you'd be moving around. It might be that you'd be like, actually, I don't know, like if you want to be harsh, some of that could feel fairer. That could be a fairer look. Maybe I've over kind of like buffed a couple. But anyway, let me know. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.